Well, it was the Queen's Jubilee, and it was the night that they were lighting all the beacons everywhere, so we didn't want to go somewhere crowded. There was me and two of my friends, and we had the dogs with us. So we thought Great Hill would probably be the best place, because you could see the Pike, you could see Darwin Tower, you could see Pendle Hill, South Lake, so that's why we decided to go there. Normally, at that time of year, there's sheep everywhere on the moors, down at the low parts, as well as right the way up onto Great Hill. And that particular day, there weren't any sheep at the bottom end where you park and walk through up on the main path. As we got up to Great Hill, there were, my dog is, was, he's dead now. He was a working dog, so he would work sheep. My friend had a Fern Terrier that wasn't good with livestock, and there was a group of, I don't know, maybe 20 sheep or so, something like that. We're right up at Great Hill as you get to the top where the seats are. So, because the friend wanted to let the dog off, I used my dog to send the sheep away, but we came back. So I sent him off again, and we chased him down off the hill, came back, and the sheep came back. And we had to do it 3 times. And I thought that was a little bit strange, because normally if the dog will send the sheep off, they'll stay away, but they kept coming back. So yeah, it's sort of like 3 good attempts to get rid of them, just so that the friend could let the Cairn Terrier off. So I thought that only afterwards, in hindsight, I was like, that was really weird. I was with 2 work colleagues, friends. We got up there was only us at first, because we took like a flask with some coffee in and some pop and crisp and cakes and what have you. Went up just before it got dark. While we were up there was a bloke turned up. We realised when we got there I had flip-flops on, we'd forgotten to set torch. This guy turned up with all camping gear, and, you know, I don't know whether he'd been wild camping or whatnot, but he had a head torch. And we said, you know, can we walk back down with you later on? He said, yeah. And then a big gang came up White Coppice Gorge. I didn't know all the lads. I think there were, I don't know, half a dozen of them, maybe a bit more. But one of the people with them, the girl, she was somebody else who worked with us. We didn't know she was going up. She didn't know we were going to be there. But yeah, there ended up quite a crowd. I was at the top. They brought beers and what have you, so, and a bit of music. So yeah, we made a bit of a party of it at the top of the hill. We probably were there an hour after the festival. They lit the beacon, whatever time the beacons were lit. They lit the beacons, we watched that, and then there were fireworks going off everywhere. So we watched those because we were right high up. We could see them going off in like Brinskull, Withnell, Abbey Village and so on, and over towards Bolton. I'd say maybe an hour and a half tops after the fireworks had finished and the beacons had been lit. So I don't know. I'm going to guess 11, half 11, maybe 12 at the latest. So the gang that had smoked the White Coppice Gorge, the girl we worked with, they were quite a bit in front of us going down towards this path, because they had proper shoes on and torches. I've got my flip-flops on. My friend doesn't walk very quick. My other friend is walking behind with this guy with the head torch. But it was quite a light night. You know, I think I said to you, I'm pretty sure it was a full moon that night, because it was quite light. So the other group had already hit the gorge path as we were kind of getting to where the forts were shouting to them and whatnot. My friend chatting to the bloke behind us, they were, I don't know, I'll guess about 100 feet behind us, and me and my other friend are walking ahead with the dogs. And we hadn't been going that long. I think we were making a few jokes, you know, saying, oh, she's pulled here behind, and I kind of looked over my shoulder back at them, having a laugh with my other friend, and virtually fell over my dog, and he was stock still in the middle of the path, hackles up, just looking off to the left, like in the direction of White Coppice Gorge, but not actually looking down the gorge, if you get it. It was just in that kind of direction. And other dog was standing at the side of him. And my dog's tail, he was basically rigid-legged, all his hackles were up, just staring, he wasn't making a sound. The Cairn Terrier was on the other side of him, so the side furthest away from the moors, on his right side, and her tail she wasn't doing anything either, but her tail was tucked underneath her, which I thought was a bit odd. You know, terns are quite feisty little things, and I wasn't really sure, you know, what was going on, and I thought, what's coming on? I said, go on, get going. And as I said that, I heard a growl, and my first instinct was that it was a dog. Now I don't think it was, because when you think about it, it was strange. I'll just say it was strange. It was a different kind of a growl. My friend who I was walking with was a couple of steps behind me. He talked quite loud. I always joke and say, like, you can whisper over 10 fields. So I kind of turned to her and I said, did you hear that? I thought, what? I didn't hear anything. What was it? And just as she finished talking, the growl happened again. She heard it this time.
Yeah.
The other two, at this point, because we've stopped, they've kind of closed the gap a little bit. But they're talking away and they didn't look like they'd heard anything. And the dogs sort of, they were still a little bit alert, but didn't look as bothered. Like, my dog's hackles had kind of come down and he was looking in the direction of the moors, but didn't seem as stressed, shall I say, as he has looked a couple of minutes ago. So yeah, we carried on walking a little way. You know, the dogs were still looking, but tails weren't up, hackles weren't up. The little Cairn terriers sniffing around a little bit. So we were walking a little bit slower than we had been doing, but we were trying to think about what it was that we'd seen, you know, and I was saying, I think it, you know, that might have been a dog, and I was a bit worried about my dog because he's still like having a bit of a scrap, so, and this is all in the space of a minute or so, just going through all of this in my head and keep an eye on him. I don't want him running off in the dark after another dog, and it didn't sound very friendly, and yeah, so we were just kind of talking about that, and the next minute he stopped still again, and this time he's growling, and there's a little bit of a bend in the road, in the track. He kind of goes round to the right hand side, and he is poker straight again, tail up, all his hackles are up, and he's doing a really deep chesty growl.
Yeah.
And the Cairn terrier was actually whimpering. He was kind of whining, very quietly, but she was whining. She was scared. But the fact that my dog was growling, that really worried me. And they were kind of looking. There's a bit of a slope going up to the right-hand side. And at that point, my dog was kind of looking in that direction, and then started kind of turning his body and his head to the left. Now, these two have closed the gap even more behind us. And the guy's headlight, the headset he had on, was casting light in front of where we were standing. And I think because he was talking to my friend, he was on his left-hand side, so the side that the dogs were now looking at. I think he may have just turned his head, which is why the light, you know, cast where I then saw something just move across from the left-hand side across the front of the bend, so it was kind of going in the direction we were going in. It went from the left to the right, and both the dogs were just, they just followed it with their eyes, really stiff. My dog was just growling, but we didn't hear it move. I didn't see a head. I just saw the bulk of the body. And my first instinct was it were a cow, which only thought after cows start up on the moors in that area. So yeah, that was quite frightening. At which point I went into total panic, asking him, did you see that? And oh my God, you know, what the hell was that? The friend that was with me, she'd seen it. The two behind us, he didn't let on. The mate kind of shrugged. And I just went into a bit of a panic, and I was insisting that we all stayed together and got the dogs on the lead, and then had another probably 15, 20 minutes maybe walk to get off the land after that. So while we had the dogs on lead at this point, but all the way down to the rest of the strip back from the bend after Great Hill, right down to the bottom where the cars are parked up. They were constantly looking from like the left-hand side to the right-hand side of the path, And then they looked back from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, as though they were watching something moving from one side to the other, but we didn't see anything. We didn't hear anything. We didn't see anything, but the dogs, it was like they knew something was there, and that was for the full duration of that walk back down the main path. I've actually got the horrors at the minute. Sorry about that. The voice is shaking. Right, yeah. So just as the path starts to drop, it's quite a steepish drop because you've been fairly flat from there, just going towards where the cars are parked. There's like a metal gate. Just to the left-hand side, I think it's called Whittles. I can't remember. It's an old ruined farmhouse, one of the abandoned small farms. And because obviously all the way down I've been trying to stay together. Felt like a freak because nobody seems to be, and I was getting a bit pissed off because they're still dawdling and I'm wanting to, get back to the car. And I kind of looked over my shoulder to say to the other two at the back, will you hurry up? And as I did that, I was kind of looking in the direction, and I just out the corner of my eye caught something moving. And I couldn't tell you colour, I couldn't tell you if it had hair, or what have you, because it was a distance. I don't know how many feet it would you think it would maybe, I don't know, 50 to 100 feet away, because you saw where it was from the path.
You're right, yeah.
I'm not great with distances. Obviously with the moon being out, and just saw something jumping, and it was kind of going in the left-hand direction, so it kind of jumped over the small, like, crumbled walls. I don't know whether the foundations of this building under it, there's a couple of trees in the middle of it. I just saw something leap over, at which point I have lost it, and effing and jessing, and Christ's sake, hurry up. And in the space it took me to do that, and probably walked 5 feet, I hear another growl. Yeah, just where it dips down a little bit. So I didn't see anything. I hadn't heard anything running or, moving. I just seen the outline of whatever it was jumping into the ruins. And then what seemed like seconds later, there's a growl right off the path, 10 foot, like I said, maybe. You're probably better judge than me. And I bolted. Oh, that's the other thing as well. I did actually unhook my dog off his lead, because I was just like, letting go, and I ran and absolutely shredded my toes because I was in flip-flops and there's a lot of loose stones up there. I think if I could have, I would have bolted that gate. I managed to get through the kitchen gate, got in my Land Rover, had everybody in there within seconds, locked all the doors and boosted it.